Hi, Mike.l.Levine. Welcome to my channel. It's amazing, but you put on a blazer or a suit and instantly it adds uh, to your character. You look significantly more businesslike, more professional. Um, but where did this come from? And that's a great segue into today's topic, which is going to be tailored clothing. The first suits kind of originated going back into the 1600s. King Charles II decreed out to his courtiers, which are the people who worked in his court, that flamboyant furs and such, which was their dress of the day, should be exchanged for something a little bit more humble. And so then you got people wearing jackets with big puffy shoulders and leotards. That was became the common dress for men of, say, power or wealth for almost 200 years to follow. The late 1700s, a man by the name of Beau Brummel comes up with something that represents more the traditional suit. And that becomes the adopted clothing, which then spread across all of Europe and eventually was transitioned to the United States. Beau Brummel was also the person who first came up with the idea of bathing every day as being good hygiene. So we can thank him all for that practice and bringing that to light. So Aurora Investments Global, the company I work for, we manufacture tailored clothing among some of the many other things that we make. And I always find tailored clothing just so interesting because, we have different levels where you have your basic clothes um, off the rack, then you have more tailored clothing. And the evolution of the suit and what it is and what it's meant to be is just something that's very interesting because this is where you truly have a piece of art that you're wearing. And the suit in its construction actually is the antithesis of many common practices that we employ in making other types of apparel. And so, just to point a couple of those features out to you, um, I uh, brought this piece out. This is a partially sewn garment suit, and you can kind of see what it is, and you've maybe seen tailors uh, working with people with this through fittings. So if you have a suit that's custom made for yourself, the tailor's going to build for you like a vest, and then on that vest, he's going to work kind of like a sculptor would with clay, adding to certain areas of your body to try and give you this more overbearing, maybe even athletic look. And it's very important in the tailor that you select uh, because it's what his vision is of, say, the where he's trying to take you and how he gets there is can be very unique to each individual. So basically, though, you have your vest. The tailor's going to add shoulder pads. So depending on your level of development in your shoulders, you may find that you need to have more or less added. Um, Somebody who might be like a bodybuilder may go in and require much less or almost nil in the shoulders just to give it shape, as opposed to, say, the average person who maybe spends most of his time at a desk would want something that would build him up a little bit wider than his hips, because the idea is you're going to want to slope into the hips to give the impression of a waist and being slender. Right? Lots of your anterior, this is here where this is your chest piece. Chest pieces come sometimes pre-assembled. In this particular case, we're putting the pieces in as we go, and you can see they're getting sewn into the garment as also um, fused in. So when you do a little bit of stitching above the fuse, because fuse over time it has a melting point, and the glue from repetitive pressing can actually disappear or get melted and absorbed into the garment, and then the garment would fall apart. Another reason why you don't wash your suits and they have to be dry cleaned. You can see here, this piece here, which is determining actually where the lapel is going to fold. Um, this is the bottom of the chest, so to give you the appearance of being a little bit more built up in the chest, a little bit um, more imposing type figure. You're going to have darts. Let's see if we can see them right here, about going from the pocket to the middle of the chest. This is to give the waist a little bit of shape, um, and kind of basically that's it. You know, here you have some armhole details. I mentioned it's kind of the antithesis of typical sewing, and that's because when you build a proper suit, you're going to add in fullness in a lot of areas, and that's really a no-no for any type of tailored or dress pant or dress shirt. You want those to lay flat. You don't want any puckering in your seams, so you want to get as smooth a seam as possible. In a suit, in order to form that correct um, armhole, we actually have fullness, so you'll mark certain places in the armhole where you're going to feed in as much fabric as possible to try and get this proper cut. Um, Another thing that's very interesting in the suit is that the arm bend is actually pre-built in, so you have a slight arm bend because nobody is going to leave their arms perfectly straight at this um, at their side. So a nicely tailored suit will have, when you hold it up, a natural bend in the sleeve, and you will see it come down and then out, and it should be noticeable but not severe. Um, Another interesting feature that I find also um, is that in the lapel of the jacket, so you have where the top folds over and the front folds forward. So it's a change of direction, and we actually take that into consideration when you're piecing your lapel to the main body. Um, and I can maybe call that out by stepping closer to the camera here, but you can see on the back of the lapel where actually here your seam is, the edge of your where the two pieces meet is folded a little to the back. So that way when the lapel is in this direction, there's no sign of a seam. It lays flat. As you come down, that will then transition now to the front, right about here. And that is the exact point where when this is pressed, you want your presser to grab it so and bend it over there. So that way that what was done in sewing is matched up to pressing, and that seam will be covered and look nice and smooth. So anyways, there's a lot of different interesting features in the suit. Um, we make all different levels, so the actual construction we're going to use is going to match to the customer's request and the level of garment that he's selling. Your high end suits actually have a horsehair chest piece in them, which is just so wiry. It holds its position and holds its shape well. Um, Nowadays, the more common suits and even the mid-range suits are going to have what we call a non-woven material in there, which non-woven means that it's just not of a woven fabric, so it's probably very paper-like. Would be anything that's called, quote, non-woven. If your company is interested in making tailored clothing, you can reach out to me on my contact information below. We have several factories that manufacture tailored clothing. As I mentioned in my other videos, we do activewear as well. Men's casual pants, women's casual dresses, formal gowns, kind of the whole gambit. And if you liked my video and you think it was interesting, please sign up for future videos on YouTube, where you could subscribe and click the notification bell to be informed every time I put out a new video. In the meantime, dress smart, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Take care.